Write and graph a compound inequality. So here we have a word problem. A pilot flying at 30,000 feet is told by the control tower that he should increase his altitude to at least 33,000 feet or decrease his altitude to no more than, I'm going to highlight at least, and no more than 26,000 feet to avoid turbulence. Write and graph a compound inequality that describes the optimum altitude. So I guess this word problem is a little bit confusing, but at this 30,000 feet, right now the plane is experiencing turbulence. So if I want to think about, well, the altitude, maybe I'll call that A, has to be at least 33,000 feet. So it's got to be greater than or equal to 33,000. But then at the same time, it has to go to no more than 26,000 feet. So I guess in between this 26 and 33,000 range, it's a problem. So to communicate no more than, it has to be less than or equal to 26,000. So something shouldn't be more than, I think it's okay being at that point. And if we were to graph this, we'll not graph and write thousands because that gives us so little space. And we'd have to write 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So let's go with just the number 25 and then maybe 35 over here with a midpoint of 20 and then, with a midpoint of 30, and then each of these tick marks is going to represent an additional 1,000 feet. So 31, 32, 33, 34,000, and so on. So with the greater than or equal to 33, at 33 I'll have a closed circle, and I'm going to draw that to the right. And at 26 I'm going to have a closed circle and draw that to the left. So this shows where the pilot should fly, while this would show where he should not fly because it would end up giving him a less optimum altitude because he'd be coming across turbulence. And the hope is to be able to write this in one single statement, but let's look what happens when I try to write these together. So I'm going to use red. So let's see, A is less than or equal to 26,000, but then I also want A to be greater than or equal to 33,000. So I'd be well, greater than or equal to 33,000. And this is a problem. And the reason it's a problem is because, well, a number that is bigger than 33,000 would be 34,000. But that's not really less than 26,000. You'd have to have a number like 25 to be less than. So this is an OR inequality. So maybe just draw a little arrow to this and, point out OR. And so the whole idea is if I have an OR inequality and they both go in different directions, maybe that's not one where I can write in a single sentence. I should always try to make it my goal to write it left to right if I can, but there I'm stuck. So we were told to write and graph a compound inequality, and I would say we've done that. But we can't put it into one statement. Alright, here's a different word problem. Shopping. A store is offering a $30 mail-in rebate on all color printers. Louisa is looking at different color printers that range in price from $175 to $260. How much can she expect to spend after the mail-in rebate? Now, because this is kind of a sort of straightforward word problem that maybe makes it less challenging, if we don't use inequalities, let's jump in because it'll help us understand the math. So the way rebates work is that, that's the money you're going to get back. So if she spends $175, she's really spending $175, but then she's going to get $30 back, so she'll have spent $145. And then similarly, the same deal, $260. She's going to get $30 back, so she really spent $230. So how much can she expect to spend? We'll go ahead and write 145 to 230. And then you recall, you can either put a dollar sign here and there, or write the word dollars after that. And that's really so much easier than complicating it by setting up an equation or anything. So I say that if the book shows these different, they're actually not helping us out. But let's write this as a compound inequality where we'd say 145 is less than or equal to X, where X is what she spends. I dislike the letter S, so I'm going to, I could use C for cost, is less than or equal to 230. So that's really what she'll spend. You can box that to make that stand out, although this is as much the final answer as that is. We will stop this video here and complete these in a separate video. So this will just be word problems in the second one.